7th grade review, part B, number 17. When Ethan woke up to the temperature was 12 and 5/8 degrees Celsius. Throughout the day, the temperature rose at a rate of 2 and 3/4 degrees Celsius per hour. What was the temperature after 4.5 hours? So it started at 12 and 5/8, and then it rose for 4.5 hours at 2 and 3/4 degrees Celsius. So 4.5 times 2 and 3/4 degrees Celsius. So 4.5 times 2 and 3/4 would be the rise, and 12 and 5/8 would be where it started, and so we add those together to get the final temperature. So we can go ahead and eliminate a couple things. We can say it's not going to go lower, it's only going to increase. C looks too low, so I think it's going to be 25, but we'll test it out. Let's change them all to decimals. And so we get these in decimal form since they can be written as terminating decimals. Now we're going to multiply 4.5 times 2.75. We get positive 12.375, which will be added to its starting point, 12.625. And they add up to exactly 25. So we get 25 degrees Celsius. Answer choice D. Number 18, what decimal is equivalent to 6 and 13/40ths? So the number in front of the fraction is 6. That's our whole number. So we write 6 point something. And then 13 over 40. That's just 13 divided by 40, which is 0.325. So I'm just going to place that 0.325 in my number, and it is the decimal equivalent. Number 19, we're converting 3 and 2/5 to a decimal. So once again, the number in front of the fraction is 3, and 2 divided by 5 is 0.4. So we get 3.4, which is answer choice C. Number 20 is like this. We're looking for the decimal equivalent of 5 and 17/25. So we write 5 in front of the decimal, and 17 divided by 25 is 0.68, so we get 5.68. Number 21. Jasper has $45 less in his bank account this week than he did 6 weeks ago. Which of the following expressions can be used to determine the average weekly change in Jasper's bank account balance during the past 6 weeks? Select all of the expressions that correctly represent this average weekly change. So the average weekly change means the change per week. Well, his change per week. So his change was he dropped $45, and this was in 6 weeks' time. So anything that represents negative 45 divided by 6. We know a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So anything that shows that. So this first one is a negative 45 divided by 6. The second one, the numbers are swapped. The third one, the numbers are swapped. The fourth one, the numbers are swapped. This fifth one, we have a negative 45 divided by a positive 6, which will make a negative. And then last, we have a negative divided by a negative, which equals a positive. So that one does not work. Mallory and 5 of her friends bought a box of 36 cookies. So there were 6 people. They bought 36 cookies. I'm going to go ahead and note that. There were 6 people. Together they ate 2/3 of the cookies. If they evenly divided the remaining cookies, how many would each of them receive? Okay, so let's see what they ate. They ate 2/3 of 36. 2/3 would have to stay a fraction because it's a repeating decimal. So 2/3 times 36 will write as 36 over 1. We could cross cancel here. I'll just go ahead and multiply. 2 times 36 is 72. 3 times 1 is 3. And we get 24 cookies are what they ate. Now, if they evenly divide the remaining cookies, how many would each receive? Well, 36 minus 24 equal 12 remaining. And we're dividing this among 6 people. So 12 divided by 6 equal 2 cookies each. Answer choice B. Number 23. Which expression is below is equivalent to negative 3 times the group 6/7 minus 2/7? Now, I could solve this expression entirely and then solve all of these expressions and see which ones are the same. This one, I noticed that I've got a number plus or minus a number in all my answer choices. So I'm going to just use distributive property. I'm going to say negative 3 times 6/7. That's like saying negative 3 over 1 times 6 over 7, which will be negative 18/7. So I get that for my first value. And then for the other one, I've got negative 3 times negative 2/7. That's like saying negative 3 over 1 times negative 2 over 7. A negative times negative is a positive 6/7. And that matches answer choice A. Number 24, Luke went to the vegetable stand for his mother. He bought 3.5 pounds of green beans and 1.25 pounds of cucumbers. Use the price chart below to determine how much he spent. Then our question says, if he paid with a $10 bill, how much change did he get back? So let's just start with how much he spent. He bought 3.5 pounds of green beans, and I can convert that to a decimal. So he bought 3.5 pounds of green beans times the cost of green beans is $1.28. Plus, he bought 1.25 pound of cucumbers, which is 1.25 as a decimal. The price of cucumbers is 88 cents. So we multiply 3.5 times 1.28, and we get 4.48. We can also multiply 1.25 times 0.88, and we get 1.1, which in money would be $1.10. So he spent $5.58. Now let's find out what his change is. His change would be out of $10, he spent $5.58. So we subtract and get $4.42. Answer choice B. Number 25 is looking for an equivalent expression. So we're going to distribute negative 3 to each fraction. Negative 3 times 5 over 6 is negative 15/6. And negative 3 times negative 1 over 6 is positive 3/6. And so we end up with negative 15/6 plus 3/6. And notice it doesn't match any of these exactly, but we could further say, well, they're like denominators, and we say negative 15 plus 3 is negative 12. And let me just see if any of these are going to be the same thing as negative 12 over 6. The first one is 28 over 6. Then answer choice B is 12 over 6. Answer choice C is negative 12 over 6, which does match. And then answer choice D was negative 28 over 6. This problem was a little different in that neither one of them came out exact and neat when we were in the middle of solving the expression or simplifying it. But you could have fully solved this problem by simplifying these expressions. We could have went ahead and simplified all the way to negative 12 divided by positive 6 is a negative 2. And answer choice C would have simplified all the way down to negative 2. Number 26, the distance between Jason's house and Tom's house is 6 3/4 of a mile. The school is located on a straight path between the two houses. So we see that the distance between their houses is 6 3/4 miles. So 6 3/4. And we see the school is located on this straight path, and it's 2 7/8 miles from Jason's house. So the school would be in this distance, 2 7/8 miles. And it asks us, how far is the school from Tom's house? We don't know. We'll call that X. So we could solve this a couple different ways. I think I'm going to say the fact that these two distances, 2 and 7/8 and x, whatever that is, add up to be 6 and 3/4. Then I can say 6 and 3/4 minus 2 and 7/8. I could work with these as fractions, but since they'll go to terminating decimals, I think I'll work with that because it's simpler. And so I go to a calculator and I subtract these decimals. I get 3.875, which looks like it will match answer choice A, 3 and 7/8. If in doubt, I could check. I could see if 3 and 7/8 is 3.875 by dividing 7 by 8, and the calculator will tell you it's 0.875. So 3 and 7/8 would be 3.875. So that does work. Number 27, Cameron is visiting a city which sits 64.5 feet below sea level. He reads that the tallest building in the city is 1,200 feet high. How many feet above sea level is the top of the tallest building in the city? Well, it starts at 64.5 feet below sea level, so I'm going to show that with a negative symbol. And then we're going to add 1,200 to that to reach the top of this building. And we'll go to a calculator. And it equals 1,135.5 feet above sea level because it's positive. Answer choice B. Number 28, point A starts at -8 on a horizontal number line. Point A goes through the following moves. And it gives us those, and it asks for the final position. So first it goes +9. That's going to go right 9. So I'll just start here and I'll go right 9. So from -8, I'm going to count 9 to the right, and it ends here at +1. Now I'm going to go -2, so I'm going to go left 2. 1, 2. It ends here at -1. Then we're going to go -5. It's going to go left 5 places, and it ends here at -6. Then we're going to add 12, which means we're going to go right 12 places. Count 12 places to the right, and it ends here at +6. In this problem, we just counted. Anytime you added, we went right because it was more positive on a number line, and anytime we subtracted, we went left because it was more negative on a number line. Number 29, a mountain biker begins hiking a trail from campsite A. As the trail descends, his elevation decreases 96 feet. The trail then starts to rise, and his elevation increases 128 feet. At this point, what change in elevation will bring the hiker back to the elevation of campsite A? So let's just start by seeing how the mountain biker's elevation changed. From where the mountain biker started, the elevation decreased 96 feet and then increased 128 feet, which equals an increase is positive of 32 feet. So what change will bring it back to the starting point? What change will bring it back? Well, that would be going the opposite direction, which is -32 feet. Answer choice C, because it's the opposite. Number 30, Brenda watched the temperature changes throughout a cold winter day. At lunchtime, the temperature was 6 degrees Fahrenheit. At supper time, the temperature had fallen 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Which equation below correctly shows the change in temperature from lunchtime until supper time? Well, the temperature started at 6 degrees, and then it fell, which indicates a drop, 10 degrees, and so 6 minus 10 is -4. And that would be answer choice B. Number 31, which combination of events listed below results in a zero effect? Select all that apply. Well, these would be opposites. So Matt gets 15 points off of his test for incorrect answers, but scores 10 bonus points. So he loses 15 and then he adds 10. That is not going to be zero. The next one, the temperature is 10 degrees cooler today. Overnight, the temperature will fall 10 more degrees. Negative 10 minus 10 will not equal 0. Josh borrows $5 from his mom, and later he pays her $5. So that would be opposites. So that does equal 0. Allison runs 60 feet to first base, but when the ball is called a foul, she has to walk 60 feet back to home plate. So she increased 60, but then she had to go back 60. Those are opposites. It does equal 0. Jeff has $50 in his wallet, so he starts at $50 and puts $50 more into his wallet. 50 plus 50 does not equal 0. Number 32, another question where we're finding what will result in a 0 effect. Christina earns $25 for babysitting, and then she spends $25 on a pair of shoes. 25 minus 25 does equal 0. Terry bakes 36 cookies and is given 36 more cookies from his mom. That does not equal 0. Hank scores 2 goals, and then the opposing team scores 3, so that would be negative for him. But that does not equal 0. Helen runs for 3 miles and walks for 4 miles. So the miles she walked does not equal 0. Ralph borrows 4 decks from his brother and later gives the 4 decks back. So these are opposites, and those do equal 0. And we're finished.